Welcome to Kaale Lifestyle. Let's get started.
Growth in marriage. Steve and I have been married for about 9 years now, going on 10. We truly had our tough moments and powerful seasons. There were times I was enjoying life, then there were times I wanted to be alone. I wanted to be alone because I was constantly trying to change myself to live up to a person I was not at the time, or was afraid of. I was trying to be like the wives I had witnessed, or what I thought a wife should be, not realizing I was creating a large hole for myself that I would be trying to get out of later in life. Through the happy times, you could not tell me anything negative about Steve. Through the sad times, I felt lost, not knowing how to communicate with him. Through the times of anger, I would question everything, trying to understand, how did we get here? I believe God knew what we needed to go through in order to prepare us for ministry, such as attending counseling to work on our communication and learning what we needed from each other in order to feel safe, respected, and honored within our marriage. We were striving to be a good example for our children and others who needed to know marriage is rewarding. At the same time, we were causing more stress for ourselves, trying to live up to what we thought was a great marriage, rather than live for Christ. Placing God at the center of your marriage can benefit you in many ways. You will know when God is speaking so you can make proper decisions, know when to let things go and when to be patient, etc. When you exchange I do's, you are making a vow in front of God and with God, proclaiming that no matter what, you will stand next to your spouse and not throw in the towel even in hard times. Once again, not saying this is or will be easy because humans are flawed. You may have to deal with human failures such as infidelity, lies, selfishness, etc., but that does not mean the marriage is over, though in some cases it could. It means that there is work to be done. Both parties have to decide whether they are in the relationship and are willing to fight for it. During times like this, you have to hear from God on what to do, especially if your husband is not on board with whatever it may be. I can easily say, girl, just leave him, or I can say, come on, maybe go to counseling. But the fact of the matter is, I'm not you and I am not in your situation to analyze every detail from both sides. The both of you would have to go before God or alone in some cases, just like you did when deciding to make the vow of for better or for worse. Either way it goes, it will be a challenge because someone has been hurt to the core. Trust has been broken. Pain has been inflicted, and now peace has to be sought out. I was watching an interview with Priscilla Shire, and she met with a lady named Fawn Weaver, who went around the world to speak with couples who were happily married. The two main things Fawn discovered were that couples value respect and trust for the other person, respecting their growth within the marriage and supporting one another. This type of intimacy led to romance without insecurities, which in turn improved intimacy in the bedroom. What I gathered from the interview is that griping to my girlfriends about what my husband is not doing or not understanding will not help my marriage. Discussing what I can do to help my marriage, I believe, is more fruitful than complaining. When speaking with my girlfriends, they can help teach me how to respond to Steve. And this is from those who want to see your marriage survive. So they will help me consider other perspectives. It took me a long time to understand exactly what marriage was, what intimacy was, and what communication was supposed to be like. We have to learn how to evolve within our marriage and continue to love the person whether we felt as if they were on our level or not. I had to experience a lot of ups and downs because I was comparing my marriage to those I have witnessed from childhood into adulthood. I was trying to mimic others' relationships. I believe we do a great disservice to ourselves when we try to mimic someone else's marriage or relationship versus focusing on what God has put together. It wasn't until my husband broke down to me what intimacy was, how there is the emotional part and the sexual part of a relationship, that I began to understand it. It wasn't until I was able to love myself and forgive myself for trying to be like other people that I began to see my husband as the man that God has put before me. The man that God has said is mine, and that will do great things, and that we will do great things together within our marriage. When I started loving myself and my body, I understood marriage is not just about sex, and I started to relax. I had conversations with my husband, letting him know why it has been hard all these years for me to relax and trust him. For me, I was trying to fall into the idea of a wife that the Bible talks about. I was in my head overthinking every single step. I had the other parts of marriage down, but I did not have the intimacy, trust, and affection. I did not understand what affection meant. Okay, it's like this. When you are taught about God being your father and how he loves you and he will do anything for you, but you never had that experience of having a father who was there for you and being truly loved, that is how I felt trying to understand intimacy and affection. I could not grasp what it truly meant because I was not exposed to it. For what I knew, I decided to put expectation on my husband that he did not know about while forgetting he had needs too. It hurts thinking about that right now because it was a tough road, but at the same time, I know God gave me my husband because he knew he would be the one to go through this journey with me. He would be the one to be patient as I try to figure out affection, intimacy, love, and myself. God created a woman from Adam's rib to be his helper. Read about their union, Genesis chapter 2, verses 18 to 24. So many women take this as an insult. Think about this. What is the purpose of the rib? The rib cage protects the vital organs such as the heart and lungs. Do you know how powerful that position is? If there is damage to the rib cage, then there is more than likely damage to the vital organs that could be fatal. So God choosing the rib is significant. The woman is the protector of her husband's emotional state, the one that can touch his heart, speak to him in a way that he can understand, helping him to be in touch with his emotions at the same time providing help and security to him. Do you know how many successful male leaders have their wives in the background helping them to stay connected and figure life out? They may not always get the spotlight, but if you were to go behind the scenes, their wives support them in many ways. Remember, your reward is not through man, but through God. So take the position strongly and boldly as an honor, okay? The only way to be successful is when God is involved and moves your heart, or your husband's heart. Not yelling at your husband over and over. Go to God to talk to his child. If you do not know how to maneuver through difficult situations in your marriage, the best thing I can offer is ask God for help. Ask him to guide you separately and together. Go to counseling together, learn from your mistakes, talk to your spouse, and grow. You are responsible for your actions no matter what the situation was. You will fall, you will get in arguments, but it's when both parties are willing to fight for the relationship that you will grow. You can only move forward and gain success and momentum together. God has to be involved. Marriage was not created by man. Marriage was created by God for a purpose, for a ministry, a covenant between a man and a woman because he knew how powerful they could be together. God purposefully created Eve from Adam's flesh and bone to symbolize union when two become one flesh. Genesis chapter 2, verse 23 to 24. To understand more about marriage and which correlates between Christ and the church, I want you to read Ephesians 5, chapter 5, verses 21 to 33. I say all this to tell you that each marriage is different. Don't compare yours to someone else. Don't complain that, oh, I wish my marriage was like this other couple. Stand firmly in your marriage. After all, you do have a powerful position. Love still growing. So this is my self-reflection portion of this audio. What is one area that you believe you could do better in to support your marriage? Remember, you will answer to God for your actions, not what your spouse made you do. I also have links below to the interview with Fawn Weaver. And I ask that you join me in the conversation in the comment section, or you write this in your journal and keep it to yourself or to someone you feel more comfortable sharing. I just want to say thank you for listening to this audio. Thank you for following me all this time and just encouraging me to keep going. And I love you guys, and I thank you for everything you all have done to support me. And I thank God for this opportunity. Take care.